To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So the other day, we had to go into town to get a live trap because we had raccoons and possums hurting our chickens. While we were in town, we went ahead and got some more chicken feed. Got 4 more bags. Now this is the chicken feed for the meat birds. It's 22%. So we shouldn't need too much more before it's time to butcher. We got 2 bags in the house. I think it's 2 bags, maybe 1.5 bags, I'm not sure. And then we got these 4 bags. And from my calculations, we should need a total of 10 bags. So we're getting close to having enough now. But it got me to thinking, what are we gonna do if they shut us down again? Do another lockdown? I sure do like having this wagon. Makes things a lot easier. So I showed you yesterday that we caught a raccoon in our live trap here. So this morning I got up expecting to have caught something else, and there was nothing in the trap. And I thought, well, maybe they outsmarted me. But when I looked at the trail cam worked. It picked me up, set in the trail cam last night, and it picked me up this morning. There was nothing out here last night. I'm curious, I wonder if trapping one of the raccoons scared off the rest of the animals around here, even the possum and the armadillo, because I didn't see any sign of anything. But I'm gonna leave it out here. I got it baited and it's ready to go. So this morning I had to chase off some beagles. They weren't really harassing the chickens. They were curious, but they really didn't hurt the chickens or even try to scare them. They just looked in the cage and kind of walked away, so I had to chase them off. I think our setup now is a lot better shape. So yesterday we had a chicken that was breathing, meat bird, that was breathing kind of labored. We kind of thought maybe it was what's called water belly, where they're starting to get so big that their liver and kidneys start to fail, but nothing indicated that they actually had water belly. So I went and looked at it and picked it up, and there was no water in its belly. There's a little procedure where you can cut into the belly and it drains the water out. It's a temporary solution. You have to do it over and over again, and I was really dreading having to do that. As I was looking at this bird, I realized it had an impacted gizzard. Impacted gizzard's pretty serious. That means that they didn't eat enough grit. And occasionally you get a chicken who just won't eat enough grit. And what happens is they eat the grit and they eat the food, and it gets down in the gizzard, and the gizzard kind of mixes all that up, and that grit is what does the chewing because they don't have any teeth, so it chews all that up for them. And she didn't eat any grit. We had one other rooster do that before, ate a bunch of grass and didn't eat the grit, and it got sick. I went ahead and butchered the meat bird, and it was 1.5 pounds dressed meat. It wasn't a lot, so we figured we'd spend about $3.37 on this bird on food costs, because remember, we had 3 extra birds that we didn't have to pay for. Hatchery gave us 3 extra. So now we're down to 26 birds. So Carolyn's gonna make chicken soup out of that meat bird that I butchered yesterday who had the impacted gizzard. Now the gizzard does not mean that the meat's tainted or anything. It just means that she just didn't eat any grit and she couldn't breathe. So the gizzard, what happens is it gets so swollen it presses up against the lungs and the heart. She would have probably died anyways, and it would have been a miserable death. You know, she's suffocating is what's happening. But I don't feel like this bird is a complete loss. $3.37 for 1.5 pounds of chicken. I mean, it's a little high in price, but Carolyn will make chicken noodle soup out of it, which is pretty much free because she'll use the eggs to make the noodles, egg noodles. She'll use the broth from the chicken. So I don't think it's a huge loss. I mean, there's a little bit of money lost, but in overall, $3.37 to feed 2 people, 1 meal, not too bad. So as long as we don't start losing a bunch more, and they all look healthy today, everybody's happy, and so we're doing all right. Now, the egg chickens, just the 3 that we have that are producing eggs so far, we definitely have 4 more females. I know that for a fact. Those are New Hampshires. A couple more weeks, they should be producing eggs. So that'll give us 7 chickens producing eggs. Right now we got 3, and I've eaten lunch off those 3 every day for the last 2 weeks. Now that they're consistently producing eggs, they're still a little small, they'll get bigger as time goes on. So eggs have pretty much replaced my lunch. I used to eat a peanut butter sandwich every day. Well, that takes bread and peanut butter. Well, our last loaf of bread went bad. It molded because I wasn't eating it. The eggs have completely taken our lunch budget out of the equation. We don't have to buy lunch anymore. Carolyn's been eating cucumbers for lunch. So pretty much our process is now fulfilling one full meal. As soon as the meat birds are butchered, that'll give us 200 pounds of chicken. Right now we have 150 days of food available in the house, from chicken, pork, bacon that we've canned, plus the 30 days of food that we got in the refrigerator. So we're up to a half a year easy being able to eat. So once we get to 200 pounds of chicken meat canned, that'll give us, you know, well over a year's worth of food for the two of us. But I am starting to get more increasingly concerned about what's going on in our society. It seems like there's a big push to shut us down again for the pandemic, do another pandemic shutdown. They're already starting to do mask mandates again. And of course the vaccine mandates are starting. Also saw that in New York. So I've been kind of thinking about what we need to do so we can continue to eat. We're just starting to get to a point where we can recover, and now we're looking into all this shutdown stuff again. I don't know if our society can take another shutdown. I mean, right now we got chicken shortages and we got shortages of lumber. I think lumber's just now starting to come back, where the prices are starting to come down. Truck drivers, I've heard about truck drivers. There's a shortage on truck drivers. What would another shutdown do to us? Now, I know people are gonna say, oh, you're a prepper, you're a prepper, you're a prepper. I am not a prepper. A prepper, in my mind, accumulates things. I've been watching this one prepper for a while now. My friend John recommended him. He's even got a video. We're not hoarders, we're preppers. So you accumulate things. You buy things and you have them in storage waiting for that to happen. Now, I know I got a large quantity of canned food. The reason I have a large quantity of canned food is because food prices are so high right now. If I can find something cheap, then I'll buy it and I'll preserve it, just like you would in a freezer. You find something on a sale, you catch the sale. Now, I'm not a big person of, okay, there's sales going on, let's go out and spend money. But when it comes to food, you gotta have food. So why not spend a little extra now? So if prices go up in the future, they're talking about in October, 14% food price increase. Okay, so if I can buy cheap now and eat it when it's higher, then I'm saving money. So this isn't a prepping thing to me, it's money savings. But I've been thinking, what if they shut down again and things really get bad? What are we gonna do? Well, like I said, we got enough food to last us almost a year, but we're gonna wanna continue to raise our chickens. Well, the thing we need to do is really start buying a lot of chicken feed. That being said, you're gonna run out of chicken feed because what did I just say? I'm not a prepper. I don't have a lot of storage space. So I can't buy 1,000 bags of chicken food and say, okay, this is gonna last us the rest of our life. I just can't. We're gonna go get as much as we can, reasonably speaking. They're $14 a bag, so if we got 10 bags, it's 140 bucks. That'll last these chickens, not the meat chickens. The meat chickens go through food fast, but these chickens here, they probably eat a bag of food every couple months. The other thing we were thinking about is trapping small game. You know, we've trapped the raccoon, and if things get bad, I can go ahead and get my trapping license. I mean, so when raccoons are in season, I could trap a raccoon or a possum and we could butcher it. Now, most people say, okay, well, eat the raccoon. What I wouldn't eat the raccoon. I would feed the chickens. Chickens are gonna provide us a lot more food than that raccoon can. I know people are gonna say, well, in an emergency, you're not gonna worry about hunting licenses. We saw it in the last pandemic. They shut us down. You still had to get your hunting license. They weren't gonna just let you break the law just because, oh, there's a pandemic. Now, all that being said, there are things in your area right now that, believe it or not, you are trying to prepare for all the time. If you live in a hurricane area, you are trying to prepare for hurricanes. You make sure that you have shutters on your windows. I don't know. You always make sure you got a little generator or a little lantern. Whatever it is you need. I don't know what you need in a hurricane. There are things that you need in a hurricane that somebody in Oregon isn't gonna need. Here in Missouri, we have thunderstorms and tornadoes that knock out power. And so here in Missouri, you have generators and you wanna make sure that your freezers don't thaw out. So there's just things you are prepared for, but you wouldn't call yourself a prepper because you're prepared for those things. So in an event that we have a pandemic, now we all know what to expect. You're not gonna be able to buy toilet paper. So do you stockpile on toilet paper? No, you don't stockpile on toilet paper. You learn how to deal without it. Whether you make your own toilet paper or you use washcloths or whatever you're gonna do, that's how you get around not having toilet paper. We've already learned that. Just like you learn what to do if you're in a tornado area. You have a shelter. So that's what I'm talking about with the chickens. We know what it's like to be in a shutdown. So why not prepare ourselves to be in another shutdown, since we know this is shutdown season? That's basically what I'm trying to say. In Missouri, tornado season primarily hits in the spring, so that's when you're most prepared. Well, now that the news is starting to talk about shutdowns, mandates, and all these things, we need to start preparing now. So if you want to go get toilet paper, you can get some now. The shelves are fully stocked. You don't have to worry about it. Medications may be a problem, whatever. So start doing it now. Well, we are preparing for chickens because we may not be able to go and get chicken feed. And we can stay on this property for months on end comfortably. So I hope I can inspire you to think ahead so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.